You have a Rhino cosplay that is just spectacular. It's just amazing. It's just astonishing. All those Spider-Man cues. It's epic, man. It's menacing. It looks like it's ready to just bust through a wall, like literally. It stands tall. It stands wide. It gets searched by the K9 unit at conventions. Like, this thing is just awesome, man. Yeah, I saw the video.
That was funny.
Is it one of your tallest cosplays?
He is one of the tallest. The tallest one that I have is Optimus Prime.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, he's close to like the 10 foot from head to toe.
How tall is Rhino?
Yeah. Rhino, he's about 7'4".
Oh, okay. 7'4". I was going to say 8 feet, but yeah, 7'4". That's semi-close.
7'4". He's pretty close. I mean, if you see him in person, he feels a lot bigger and wider because he's so wide and massive. Yeah. So
he's big. It's 7'4". Let me get my voice ready. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Side Project Podcast. Yes! Let's take a sip from our Run It Up mugs. Yes. Tastes like glory, tastes like success, and it tastes like sexualization. And all of these mugs, alongside all of the hoodies and the tees and the hats and the beanies and everything that you see me rocking here, and many of the things that you end up seeing on the table, except for the Chazosaurus Rex designs, those are not available yet. We might make those available. I don't know if there's a demand. Are available on the Side Project merch store right now. All the links are in the description. Before we continue, I just want to say real quick that I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I woke up like a day, as of this recording, I woke up like a day or two ago, I think. Kind of feeling a little, off and everything. My throat's kind of hurting a little bit. My nose on and off running. I kind of got a head cold. My ears feeling a little bit of pressure. So I'm sick. You know what I mean? I definitely got a little bit of something going on. So I just want to say, forgive me throughout the duration of this episode if anything's not 100%. That would be why. But I hope everybody else is doing absolutely amazing, feeling absolutely amazing, looking absolutely amazing. And speaking of looking for things, are you looking for high quality superhero prints? Whether that be DC, Marvel, maybe the Invincible series, or even The Witcher, because it's not just limited to superheroes, but TillysTechnique on Instagram has you covered. And what's cool about that is that I can show you some of these in person. Let's see, what's the best lighting we can get here? I think right there looks about good, right? Like this phenomenal Batman and Robin. No, seriously though, man, like it's colored, it's accurate, it's immaculate. I mean, look at the glow on Batman's cowl with his eyes, and then Robin's mask as well. The detail here in Robin's shoulders and Batman's chest, just like little things to take note of. You know what I mean? It's absolutely awesome. Or maybe you're looking for this gorgeous print entitled Darkness Arrives with the red background, just making the characters that are on display pop that much more. Pop. Remember Hanson? Oh my gosh. Am I dating myself right now? Except it's not bop, it's pop. The full lips and the strands of the hair, the detail in those as well. I mean, it's just great, dude. And then you have some you have some of these black and white ones, right? But they're not fully black and white. They still got a little bit of color on them, and I think that's really cool with the lips, both on Catwoman and Poison Ivy. The Rosebud is also a little bit colored and everything as well. So it's just like a perfect touch. It's got that little bit of black and white and a little bit of color still, or maybe you're looking for all black and white, like this absolutely amazing black and white version of Batman titled "This Isn't a Mud Hole." I mean, immaculate. Look at the detail in that. He's huge, dude. Wide load, looking amazing, man. Like I said, these are seriously, man, TillysTechnique. These are absolutely amazing. I'm honored to have them in my possession. You are a true talent, my dude. And if you want to cop yourself some of these awesome prints to look at, to stare at, to frame, to put on your wall in your bedroom, in your game room, or maybe even in your kitchen. So when you're going in your kitchen and you're looking in your pantries and your cupboards and everything that you do, and you're trying to grab a bag of chips, you look at this Batman and you go, oh man, Batman didn't get this physique by eating a bag of chips. I got to change my diet. Make sure you're following TillysTechnique on Instagram, where you can get one print for $20. Maybe you want 2 prints for $35, or maybe 3 prints for $45. Whatever you want, you can get them at TillysTechnique. Shipping included. Terms and conditions apply. Be the envy of the art world in your own home with these 10 by 10 TillysTechnique prints. And to find these prints, like I said, TillysTechnique on Instagram. Find the prints you like today by tapping in, locking in, and running it up. And when you do, let them know that the Chazosaurus Rex sent ya. But anyway, let's get to the bread and the butter of this week's episode, because my guest this week is a Bay Area cosplayer that lives a cosplay life where his motto is bigger is better, as he delivers jaw-dropping builds of characters we all know and love, such as his wall-breaking Rhino, wow, or his wall-breaking Juggernaut, wow. Mutants rise, beware, as his Sabretooth and his mutant hunting Sentinel have detail that will leave your eyes wide open. Portraying villains like Omega Red to Apocalypse to Thanos, he said, fine, I'll do it myself. From variations of the Hulk to iterations of Transformers and so much more. He's been a previous Cosplay of the Week here on the show way back, so it's been a long time coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and give a warm welcome to Hummin H2. How's it going, man?
What's happening, guys? What's happening?
Man, it's so good to have you here, dude. It has literally been a long time coming, dude.
It's been a while, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, man, dude. We are going to have a good time, man. And let's not waste any time, dude. Let's just dive right into it, because I got so many things that I'm excited to talk to you about, man. And the X-Men, the animated series, it made its multi-decade absent return recently with X-Men 97. So I think it's the perfect time to start our convo off with some of your builds that are mutant themselves, because they're absolutely awesomely crazy. And some of my favorite X-Men characters as well, such as your Sentinel, man. And I've got to know more about this, dude, because this thing is just insane. And I've always been an X-Men fan since a kid. Everybody knows if you tune into the show regularly. So I'm definitely biased, man. But as well as I've always been intrigued by the Sentinel. So seeing you bring this to life in such an accurately large way is doubly intriguing. So when you're starting out with building something of this nature, where do you, start? Like, where do you begin with the build itself once you go from idea to, okay, time to piece it together? How does that process work for you?
Well, like you, I too am a huge X-Men fan. So I was always big on those episodes of like Night of the Sentinel. And when looking for a cosplay, and I always tend to stay with villains, because I see a lot of cosplays out there, and they're more heroes. And like these
always heroes, yeah.
Right, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, but let's show some love to the villains too,
But yeah, I mean, you heroes need a villain to become that hero.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I'm looking at X-Men figures, and I'm looking at all the products. Like, I think a Sentinel would probably be good to try to do. Yeah. He looks like a human form. So in that sense, that's how I see that I can actually probably fit something like this, because he walks like a human. Right. He has limbs just like a human. Right. So in that sense, he could be built, similar to just like a regular costume. Yeah. So that's kind of how I started with the Sentinel. As far as like the style and the look, when you go back to the 90s series, the animated series, he looks great, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But I wanted to modernize him more. So I took a little bit of an Iron Man suit look.
Ah, okay. Yeah, right? I see that now. Yeah, I see that.
To give it a more modern look and kind of blend it with the Sentinel look. Right. So you have some pieces of Iron Man look to it, but of course more mechanical as in the Sentinel. Yeah. So art-wise, that's kind of how it started, drawing it out that way. And I had some friends who do some like 3D renditions for me. Like I gave them the concept. This is what I wanted to look. Yeah. And so that's basically how the Sentinel started. It's just taking the figure and then just modernizing a little bit more.
It's so well done. It's so sick. And I see that. I do love that modernized take and everything about it, dude. But it does have that accuracy though to it as well. It does speak to like, especially the animated, in my opinion. Like when I see this, I think immediately for me, personally, one of the first things I think of is the animated series. You know, like it just pops out
Most
at
definitely.
me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably do. But you're right. Now looking at it, it does have that modernized feel that, I mean, I guess maybe in a sense that I didn't think about it 100% until you said it. But it was always kind of just there subconsciously, you know? And it does look like it would fit more in, I mean, that's what modernized means, but it looks like it would fit more into like today's, like if it was like in the MCU or something, right? Like that's kind of what it would look like.
I took the look at the Sentinels that they did in X-Men Days of Future Past.
Right.
You know, how that would look more robotic but it didn't have that look like back in the 90s series.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I thought of doing a modernized look to it. Like, okay, they did it their version this way. It looks more mechanical, but I always loved the 90s version because it looked humanized and you know,
and
so
there's
that's the way it's blending together.
There's something menacing about it, in my opinion, too, with like the 90s version as opposed to the one that we got in the Fox films. Like there's just something about the 90s look that is actually more menacing to me than the Fox version.
Because he has those big hands. He looks like a big muscular dude.
Yeah,
he
exactly,
looks menacing.
dude. Exactly.
And that's the look I wanted. I still wanted that look, but you know, in a more updated version.
Yeah, and you pulled it off because it's amazing. Yeah, and the details they shine, dude. Every little detail from head to toe, from the abs to the chest, and all the way down to the boots and everything. It's perfect, dude. And you have some videos on your Instagram of you suiting up in various cosplays of yours, not even just the Sentinel, but keeping with the Sentinel for a moment, you suit up in pieces. It seems to be like maybe 9 pieces or more that I counted from head to toe, attaching one at a time. So you do need a helping hand. About how much does this cosplay weigh once you're fully suited up? And then also when it comes to walking around cons all day, do you put anything in your suits to help you cool down on those like hot con days? Because I'm sure the weight can bear down on you after a while, depending on how heavy it is. And then I'm sure the heat can tire you out as well.
Well, the good thing with the suit is it is made out of EVA foam. So it's not very heavy at all.
Not that heavy,
No. So, you know, in making the suit, it was either try to do it 3D print and plastic, but I decided, you know, that's going to be a lot heavier if I'm going to be wearing this all day. Foam is the way to go. And that's what everything, all my suits are basically made of foam.
Nice.
And one, it's a lot more durable, you know, so if like something were to rip, I have my supplies on hand and I can just repair it right there and then. Weight wise, everything probably weighs maybe 30 pounds, if that. So it's not very heavy at all.
It's not that bad.
No, especially when you wear, because the weight, like on my shoulders, it's probably even less than that. It's probably maybe 15 pounds as far as like the upper body.
Yeah.
And the midsection, that's attached to my shoulders. So I don't feel anything there really. Everything's dispersed down to my legs.
Exactly.
So there are fans built inside the suit.
Nice.
So it does help me keep cool. Sometimes I wear a sweat absorbing shirt.
Oh, nice.
So when that gets all nice and wet, but I don't feel the wetness. It just keeps me cool. So when the fan hits it, it's just like an AC in my body.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like it helped. Like when I was in New York, I just suit up in that New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was pretty muggy and pretty hot.
Yeah.
So it helped a lot, especially when you're inside the con and all the body heat is just radiating. Like you feel that.
Exactly.
You know? So the fans definitely help. But to the most part, I kind of just get used to the heat. You know, I don't really feel it as much, especially when I'm walking around, and I'm pretty much stationary a lot of the times because I'm taking like thousands of photos. So, you know, I don't really feel it as much. I don't even think about it really.
That's cool though. I like the shirt and everything, and the fans blow on it. It helps cool you off a little bit. It's like a simple, easy way to go about it. But that's cool. That's cool as hell, man. I was gonna ask like what it was made out of and everything, but I'm glad that you covered that. So it's the EVA foam and everything. What would you say was the hardest part then of creating this cosplay? Is it getting everything accurately proportionate? I mean, do the electrical side of things ever give you a hard time, such as the eyes, the chest, you know, are the palms lighting up? The palms light up too, right? Or do they not?
The palms do light up, but the palms are actually those push button lights.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of cosplayers use that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a repulsor ray that you can get from the Iron Man's hand. So I'm like, just put that there and just press the button, and it's good. And then it's removable because I also have long tentacle that I can attach. So when I'm shooting out, and I can wrap people around it, like I'm capturing mutants. So I have, that ability to do that.
Yeah.
So proportion wise, that was probably different because he wanted to make it, look as normal as possible. I think the difficult part was probably the arms and the hands, making it big, but not too big. But yeah, other than that, it was just more getting the portion sizes, like the feet and then the chest and everything.
Right. Yeah, it's so well done, dude. And up on the screen right now, I mean, they probably already flashed on the screen, but I just want to talk about it and highlight it for a brief moment. This photo by Edward Photography with you as your Sentinel with the graffiti in the background. Such a good shot, such a menacing shot. And then you got the one with Cyclops, acro_fitness_FP. I don't know who did the photo and the edit on that one. I don't know if you know off the top of your head or not.
Oh yeah, that's me.
That's you? Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know if you. Okay, that's awesome, dude. I didn't know you did edits and stuff too, dude.
Yeah, I do a little here and there. Like this particular one, we were actually face to face.
Oh, nice.
And so I just cleared the image and then blew up the Sentinel and then took the background of a decapitated New York City and then put the I-beam blasters on them. So yeah, it was fun doing.
Definitely, dude. That's
a little
sick,
dabble
man.
in editing. Yeah.
Your Sentinel is just, it's definitely one of my favorites. I said I'm biased, though. I'm definitely biased. But whether it's your Sentinel, your Omega Red, your Apocalypse, or even your more so, one of your more so recent cosplays with your Sabretooth, it's clear that you're an X-Men fan like many of us, as you said.
Huge.
And as equally awesome as they all are, I want to talk to you about your Sabretooth, man, because there's a difference I notice when you compare some of your builds to something like what you've done with Sabretooth in comparison to what we just discussed with your Sentinel. It seems like you took a little bit of a different route with Sabretooth, adding, I guess you could say, to bring the point across, less bulky pieces, maybe even a little bit less height than some of your other cosplays in exchange for something like a bodysuit this time around. And I don't know if you've done that before. Can you walk us through the process of bringing your Sabretooth to life from like idea to fruition?
Yeah, I actually got the idea when I was at San Diego Comic-Con and I was wearing my Omega Red suit. And one of the booths, I think it was Mondo News, they had these figures that they make. And one of the figures that they had was an Omega Red figure. So they wanted me to take a photo with the Omega Red.
Yeah.
But right next to it was the Sabretooth. And it was made in the 90s animated version. So I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I think that would be an amazing suit to try to make.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go about like, okay, how would I go about doing this one? I do foam. But a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the suits that I do have are a lot bigger and taller, and I'm either on riser platforms or on stilts. This one, I kind of wanted to make it a little bit more easier to walk in.
Yeah.
Right. So at first, I thought about doing muscle armor and to try to build it that way. Then it just didn't look like I started doing it, but it just didn't look or feel right because then you had a lot of pieces, and then looking at the figure, he's wearing almost like a onesie. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what if we just did a muscle suit onesie and try to do it that way? So that's how it kind of started. So it was like, okay, I'm just going to eliminate doing the high build and then just make it more of a comfortable thing that I can actually walk around in normal. Right. And if I want to run in and then if I want to fight in it, I can easily do that.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of where that style came from. It was more for a comfort thing, but also a better look for Sabretooth, because I don't think it would have looked right if I did a foam armor.
Right. And
although like Sinister, so Sinister right here, he's a foam armor. So I was thinking of trying to do it that way, but it just, it didn't look like how I wanted it to come out.
Yeah.
So then scrapped that version and then did the muscle suit version.
Nice, man. It's just phenomenal, dude. It really is. And it has that like real action figure look to it too. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing. A lot of the suits that I do are actually based on an action figure look. Like my Juggernaut, that was made from, it started out with the video game, I'm kind of going blank on it, Ultimate Alliance. So the Ultimate Alliance Juggernaut. Yeah. So that Juggernaut came to look. And then I saw a figure of the Juggernaut, and I looked at him like, God, an action figure look is kind of like what I want to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of my costumes are based on action figures and also has that same action figure style look. So if you see the Sentinel, he has an upper body and he has that lower face. So it looks like it's just a twisting motion that you can actually see. It looks like a big toy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of
exactly.
Yeah.
And action figures are sometimes some of the best, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the best examples to go off of when you're creating something, such
Most
as a
definitely.
cosplay
That's
like this, you know?
Yeah, that's what a lot of it that I base it on. So I look at the figure, look at the action figure, because the action figures, they got the details, they got everything that you want the cosplays to look like, at least for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. And they also have that 90s feel if you're a 90s fan. A lot of these action figures have that 90s feel to it. And that's something that, as far as using them as examples for everything, previous cosplay of the week and guest on the show, Heroes for Hire Costumes, Robert, exactly. You guys have done some shots together and everything too, I believe, right? I think I even mentioned, highlighted some of them before. One of you guys was Apocalypse, I believe.
He was Apocalypse. I was wearing Juggernaut.
Is that what it was? Okay, yeah.
And then he also did Cable when I was Juggernaut at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He also said the action figure thing as well. He bases a lot of his cosplays off of action figures. They're some of the best things to take examples from.
Him and I, we're like the East Coast and West Coast of each other. We had the same. It's funny because when we were doing Sabretooth, right? Yeah. He was like, "You're doing Sabretooth?" I go, "Yeah." "Are you doing it?" He's like, "Yeah." But we have totally different styles.
Exactly. Yeah. You guys do.
Totally different styles, but we have the same ideal as far as which characters. That's why I was like, yes, he's the East Coast of me, I'm the West Coast of me, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Robert Paul's great.
It's funny that you bring that up with his Sabretooth as well, because he did his Sabretooth after he was already on the show, so I hadn't got a chance to detail that or talk to him about that, but his is also equally as amazing. But there are those differences, like he went with a little bit more of the actual fur, I believe, on the back of his
he did fur.
His suit and everything, whereas yours looks a little bit more like the action figure style. And it's funny that you kind of bring that up, because there's a video of you suiting up as Sabretooth in what would essentially be the fur on the back there. But for you, I mean, what's that made out of? Is that also EVA foam? And how did you go about attaching it as well? Because it looks like it's a separate piece, which I mean, it is because you see it in the video. But it looks like it clips onto like underneath your armpits or something. Like how did that all work out? Sorry, I'm stuttering over here.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, the fur is, or the mane is.
Right, the mane, there we go, yeah.
Yeah. The mane is made out of upholstery foam. So it's like one big block of upholstery foam, and it was just carved and shaved down. And then latex all over. It attaches. There's some wiring hooks underneath the armpit on the inside of the suit, so that's sticking out, and on both sides. And then at the end of the mane, there's another like a small circle hook wire. So basically, the wire sticks through the hoop and then kind of twist tie and then tuck it, and then it kind of just sits underneath the arm so that you can't see anything. And then that's basically what holds it. And then the weight on the back of my shoulder, so it just kind of sits there. So it's centrally grabbed, so it won't shift, it won't move. At least not too much. But
nice.
I've
seen you walking around and stuff in videos and everything. I don't think I've seen your Sabretooth in person yet, but I've seen it. I've seen you walking around in videos and everything. It doesn't look like it moves much at all.
No.
You know what I mean? I've seen you like doing stuff and like moving around, like, you know.
I don't see it pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I thought about doing actual fur, but then it took away from the look that I wanted of the action figure.
That action figure style look, yeah.
So that's why I basically, let's do it. We have to do it this way. It makes it look more solid and makes it look more like an action figure.
Right.
So that's why I went that route.
Yeah, and it does. I like the. It's a full helmet, right? Or is it just like is it a mask or is it a full helmet?
It's a full head mask.
Okay, got you. Yeah. It's amazing.
Amazing mask.
Amazing.
The mask is made by Mascaras and Cal. So they do amazing
shout
work.
out to them. Yeah. What about the gloves? Did you do those yourself, or did you get those made with the claws and everything
those
too?
Were made,
or is that included in the suit?
So it's separate. So the gloves are separate. The bodysuit was made by a friend of mine named Marcel Campos, and he does amazing work with his bodysuit and his upholstery sculpting. So shout out to him. Does amazing work too. But definitely got the exact look that I wanted, and so. And then with the gloves, I didn't want it to be one piece. So like if I wanted to be able to like grab something without having these big old giant claws and hands, I wanted it to be a separate piece. So that comes off easily and I can just grab and then unzip in the back.
Perfect. Yeah, it looks great, man. And I love the edit of you and Julia of Asgard, her X-23 and your Sabretooth, and she's like on top of you, edit by Pixel Lens. Dude, just phenomenal, man. And the photo is by, let me see here, by Tavalicious on Instagram as well.
Tavalicious. Tavo is actually my handler. He's the one that comes with me to all the
cars. Really?
He's the one that, Yeah, he's the one that helps me
you suit up.
Suit up, yeah.
Nice,
yes.
dude.
So without him, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
because one of the suits are just so big and massive, and I could never put it on by myself, let alone see and hear everybody. So shout out to Tavo. Thank you for always being there for me.
Yeah, no, that's good. You got to have some help, but definitely with these big cosplays, man. They're absolutely amazing, dude. And I want to talk to you about a couple more, dude. And I have some other things that I want to talk to you about for sure. But before we do that, let's break up the monotony and let's get into this week's Cosplay of the Week. And this week's Cosplay of the Week is none other than, it's been a long time coming, That Shady Haze. And I'm throwing it up on the screen right about in brightest day now. And this is of her Green Lantern. Oh my God. And it's absolutely amazing, man. It just phenomenally done, dude. Everything about it, from the photo itself to the edit to your cosplay itself as well. And the photos by Jose Izquierdo. I don't know, because also the Instagram doesn't exist anymore. So somebody correct me on that, or plug his actual thing. I'm going to put it how it's all written, but it doesn't exist. So I don't know if you got a new Instagram. I don't know if you're not on Instagram anymore, but awesome photography. And the edits by Pixel Lens. Pixel Lens is just getting shouted out all day here on this episode.
Fire.
Yeah, he really is, dude. And ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't watch the entire episode, we have guest on this week's episode, Hummin H2, and we're talking about all of his amazing builds, from his Sabretooth to his Sentinel that he did from X-Men to his Rhino and Juggernaut to everything in between. We're talking with Hummin H2 this week, so go check that out in case you didn't check out the full episode and you're just watching this on Instagram right now. But the edit by Pixel Lens, amazing, dude. The suit is made by Print Costume Official. The mask is by Tech_Outreach. And the armor pattern and the paints are finished by That Shady Haze herself, her Green Lantern, her Kyle Rayner. And the caption says one of her favorite DC heroes has got to be Kyle. She says, I haven't been showing, at the time of posting this says, I haven't been showing y'all new cosplay crafting lately, but I promise you it's in the works. I keep things low key, and sometimes we'll post a sneak peek here and there on my stories. So whether that's still accurate or not from the time frame, do be sure to check out all her stories, because you never know what she may be posting. This is absolutely sick, man. I love everything about this. Pixel Lens, you do amazing edits as always, helping to bring these cosplayers to life. And then the cosplayers, you're looking amazing, such as That Shady Haze. I want to throw up a second photo to round this out, and I'm throwing that up right about now. And this is of her Superboy. And this is one of my favorites, actually. Of you, That Shady Haze, right? It's amazing. It's just accurate. It looks great. I love everything about it, from the way that you do your hair to the glasses to the jacket with the spikes. The gloves look amazing. The logo, the suit as a whole, or the emblem rather. It's just phenomenal. I love everything about it. And the photos by T Nguyen Photos. I've shouted T Nguyen out a few times here as well. Hazel, I don't know who did what on this. It's not listed in the caption or anything, so feel free to comment it on Instagram when this is posted. Give credit where credit is due, unless you did it yourself. You know what I mean? And whoever did it, amazing job on everything. And you know what? I like what she wrote in these captions here. So we're going to take a little bit of a moment here, and we're going to do 3 fun facts about Connor Kent, a.k.a. Superboy. I like this. Let's have some fun. Connor Kent is a hybrid, and I'm sure a lot of people that are tuning in right now are like, Chazzy, we know, all right? We are the superhero fans, but there may be some people that don't. Connor Kent is a hybrid clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. His DNA was created using genetic material from both of them, making him a unique and powerful being. Although he is a clone, Connor Kent has a different personality and temperament compared to Superman. He is known for his quick wit, sarcasm, and rebellious streak, which often gets him into trouble. And lastly, in addition to his superhuman strength, speed, and durability, Connor Kent also has tactile telekinesis. This means that he can use his mind to move objects, as well as disrupt electronics and machinery. It's a rare and versatile power that makes him a formidable superhero. Absolutely awesome. And That Shady Haze, you do an amazing job as both your Green Lantern and your Superboy. I love everything about this. Hummin H2, is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap this segment up?
I just love all the characters that she does.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I remember her doing a Jubilee too.
Yeah.
That I saw at San Diego. So that was great. I'm saying New York Comic Con. So that was amazing.
Yeah, she does an awesome Jubilee as well. I love it. I love it. I love everything about everything that she does, to be honest with you. And she is going to be at Cosplay World Con in June as well. So check her out at Cosplay World Con. I will be there as well. And you may see us doing something together. Who knows? Wait and find out. That Shady Haze, if you're not following her, please go follow her at That Shady Haze on Instagram right about now, because That Shady Haze, your Green Lantern and Superboy cosplay of the week for me and Hummin H2 is amazing. Hummin H2. I want to throw a little bit of a curveball at you, my man. I want to get into a segment that I like to call Shotgun Questions. And what Shotgun Questions is a little bit more of a rapid fire segment than the questions that we've been asking, but it never ends up being that rapid fire. We always end up having conversations about it, and that's okay. It's a series of maybe 3 to 4 questions, depending on time. It's nothing serious. It's all fun and games. Some guests know that it's coming. They just don't know when it's coming. Some guests don't know that it's coming at all. Let's see how much fun we can have when I ask you, being a Marvel fan, being an X-Men fan, how do you want the MCU to handle the X-Men? Would you rather have them all in just group movies and introduce mutants over the course of the films? Do you want characters to have standalone films? Do you want it to just be films? Or would you also be interested in seeing any Disney Plus series? How do you want them to approach further introducing and maintaining the mutant characters in the MCU?
Ooh, great question. I actually would like to see how they did it. How they did the Avengers way. So they brought the movies, how they had Captain America, then they had all the other characters kind of had their little individual movies.
Yeah.
And if they did it that way, it introduces the X-Men to the new kids that have not or are not familiar with them from the past. So it gives them a chance to really know those particular characters. And then Xavier brings them into their school and then brings the X-Men. I would love it to have it that way. As opposed to just constantly everybody
thrown in and having to tell everybody's story in one movie, or juggle different stories in one movie.
Exactly. At least that's how I would love to have it done. Because then it gives that particular character his way of introduction and then shows them their abilities and how they were brought up and how they came to be in the X-Men mansion and everything. So, I think it would be great if they did it that way. Personally, that's just my love.
Man. Definitely. What are your top 3 villains of the X-Men, if you have 3, that you'd like to see in an MCU film?
Juggernaut 1. That's my favorite of all time. And I would love to see Mr. Sinister out there.
Me too. I'm glad you said that. Me too.
Mr. Sinister for sure. And I am biased. I do love Omega Red.
Me too.
Omega Red is one of my favorites.
Me too. Underrated. I think.
He is exactly, because I like to see the characters that don't get much love, but he's such a badass, and it brings a new character and a new villain to life that these X-Men need to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I think those are the 3 that I have to say.
Nice. I don't know how deep of a DC fan you are, but I ask everybody this question: out of these Batmen, you've got Keaton, Bale, Affleck, Pattinson. You can only choose one, and the rest and their universe cease to exist. Who do you pick?
Keaton. I go with Keaton.
Old school, the OG.
Old school. The OG is, to me, he's always the best one.
Keaton, man. You can't go wrong with Keaton, dude. He's the OG. I guess Adam West is really the OG if you want to be technical about it.
Yeah, he is the best, but the way that Keaton portrayed him, it was perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that snarl, that look.
Right, yeah. And lastly, last question, outside of the realm of superhero content, if you could time travel to any time period, any era, where would you go and why? And you can have up to 3 different choices if you want 3.
God, I would love to go back to the 80s. The 80s was where it was at, I grew up in the 80s.
Nice.
And the music was better.
Oh, the music is the best.
The music was the best in the 80s. The people and they were just so friendly. You could walk if you were a little kid. You could walk down the street. You could walk to school.
Just be home when the street lights come on.
Yes, exactly. When the street lights come on, oh shit! I got to run to the porch get out there before I get my whipping. That's how you knew that it was time to go home when the street lights started to come on. Everybody runs. It was the best time, man. There is no other time that I would think it would be have to be the 80s.
The 80s, man. The 80s, yeah, definitely, dude. I gotta agree. That's always one of my picks. Yeah. Would you like to choose 2 others, or are you just sticking with the 80s?
I always had a fascination with. You ever see the movie Pleasantville?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah.
So that era when hamburgers were like 5 cents and
dude.
And then those little jukeboxes and you get your malts. That kind of era. I would love to see, dude. Kind of how it would be in that era.
Right.
Like, I think I got 5 cents to buy a burger. And
exactly.
Yeah, I love that time.
Yeah, those are with the bright yellows and the greens and everything.
Yes.
Like, dude. Yeah, those are good times.
Those are my eras.
Yeah, good times, man. Good times.
You got one more. Beaver eras.
Yeah, right. Leave it to Beaver. You got one more if you want one more.
The 70s. I have to go
70s. That's a good time too, dude. That's a good time too. Yeah.
The disco era was the best. Right. And the bell bottom jeans.
Yeah. And the skate rinks and everything. The roller rinks, right?
Skate rinks. Those are the
best. Definitely, man. Definitely, dude. Well, that was wow, shotgun questions. Let's get back into it, man. You have a Rhino cosplay that is just spectacular. It's just amazing. It's just astonishing. All those Spider-Man cues. It's epic, man. It's menacing. It looks like it's ready to just bust through a wall, like literally. It stands tall. It stands wide. It ggets searched by the K9 unit at conventions. Like, this thing is just awesome, man. God, yeah, I saw the video.
That was funny.
Is it one of your tallest cosplays?
He is one of the tallest. The tallest one that I have is Optimus Prime.
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, he's close to like the 10 foot from head to toe.
Jesus, man. How tall is Rhino?
Yeah. Rhino, he's about 7'4".
Oh, okay, 7'4". I was going to say 8 feet, but yeah, 7'4". Semi-close.
7'4". He's pretty close. I mean, if you see him in person, he feels a lot bigger and wider because he's so wide and massive. Yeah, so
he's big. It's 7'4".
Still huge, definitely.
When you're working on something like Rhino, I mean, like, this thing looks like it. Once again, like many of your cosplays, like it has a lot of pieces to it and has a lot of intricate detail to it. And aside from things just like the big shoulders, the boots, the horn, but even something as small as the tattoos. Like, did you draw the tattoos on yourself? Were they like
the tattoos are actually my own tattoos.
They're your actual tattoos?
They're my actual tattoos. Yeah. So I'm like,
that's so cool.
I know the Rhino is a Russian guy, right? But
yeah.
I got to put a little Polynesian flavor.
Yeah, you got to put a little bit of yourself in there.
I'm going to put my arms in there. So, yeah.
That's so cool, dude. Like, because I was going to ask, like, some people may be saying, like, why are you focused on the tattoos? Like, there's so many crazy elements to this cosplay. But it's like, to me, it may be weird to say, but one of the first things that I noticed was the tattoos, dude. Like, and I was like, oh, that's
You're not the only one that says that, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm not alone. No. I thought maybe I was alone on that, dude.
No, that's so cool. It just stands out, because you're like,
it does.
You see the Rhino, but then what's different? Oh, he's got tattoos on him.
It's the tattoos, yeah. And it's like something as small as that. It like kind of what you said, like adding your own flair, your own flavor to it. And that's kind of just what I thought. So I was curious, like how you even brought that together, not knowing that it was your own tattoos. Now that adds a whole other piece to it. But I mean, so how did you do it? Did you actually stencil them on, draw them on? Was it like one piece? That's crazy.
Yeah, freehand and drawn. Yeah, an artist who helped me with the entire suit. His name is Habibi Amri. He goes by RoboZector. Amazing artist. Him and I have done a lot of work together. Like we go through detailing renditions of particular characters, and then when we put the suit together, we're like, how can we make it a little bit different?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I got to put the tattoos on it. So we just started hand painting the tattoos on, and so
sick,
shout out to him.
Sick.
Yeah. It's just different,
Yeah, it's such a cool, like, extra little thing to add to it, man. It's already huge and menacing cosplay itself. But I just thought that was so cool. It's like sometimes it's the smallest details that stand out as well. You know what I mean?
It is. I'm a stickler for details. I always want to have the smallest details. If it will make a big difference, it's just going to add a little pop to it. So,
right.
Of course, the armor itself is, a lot of details to it, but the tattoos just give it a little extra oomph to it.
Exactly. How do you see out of this thing? Like where are you at? Like where are your eyes at? Your actual eyes in comparison to the eyes of the helmet itself? Like how do you see it?
So when designing this particular suit, the Rhino, he's kind of like hunchback, right? Mm-hmm. And his head is kind of forward. So I already knew that I couldn't put my head in his head.
Yeah.
So not having to put stilts on, and then because he would be even more massive, it's a lot harder to be in. And since I couldn't see through the head, I had to make a mesh through the chest, right? So there's a hole underneath the head at the chest area.
Okay.
But then when we put the head on, my vision is still blocked because of the head is in front of me.
Yeah.
So
because it's
my
down
vision
lower
is down lower, but the head is up here. So I'm looking down, and literally I can only see his feet, right? Because the head itself. Yeah, this is probably one of my more difficult suits to wear. So the head itself sits in front, like just above, right here, above my head.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a headband with a PVC pipe connector in the front.
Gotcha.
So inside the head, there's a long PVC pipe that sticks out, and then it goes inside the head. So when I move my head to the right, he moves his head to the left. Like that.
Okay.
So Rhino's head moves side to side.
Interesting.
But as far as vision goes more, when I'm looking down, so now my head is attached to Rhino's head. So I can't just look down like this.
Right.
So all I can see is the feet of people when I'm walking.
That's crazy.
So I had to put a camera. Yeah. So I put a little mini camera on the top shoulder to the left.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I put a monitor inside. So now as I'm looking, I can see through the monitor. I can see forward. And now it's shooting from the top and it's shooting out.
Dude, and then, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. And you just strategically hid the cameras inside, inside the suit.
So the camera is actually on the outside.
Yeah. That's what
it's a small little like pinhole camera right now, like this.
Right.
So it's on the shoulder on the outside. The wires kind of hide up through the armor.
Sick, dude. That's so cool, man. This thing is epic. Like it really is. Again, you know what's really cool? I say this on a few episodes when I talk to cosplayers that do more so Marvel cosplays. I love Marvel. I love DC. I'm not. I want to say I'm not biased, but I definitely am. Because like I grew up more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. It wasn't until later. I mean, besides like the obvious ones of like I loved Batman as a kid. Every kid kind of likes Batman. You know, I did like Superman and stuff like that. But as a kid, I grew up liking Marvel more. It wasn't until a little bit later in my life that I started liking DC and getting more into DC and the dark and the gritty of it and some of the stories that they told, such as like Red Hood with the Joker and things like that really stand out to me. But as a kid, it was always specifically X-Men and Spider-Man. And that's all thanks to my father, because my father was a big comic head and he introduced me to the X-Men. Was one of the first memories that I have of superheroes with anything ever. And it was the X-Men comics. And then after that was also Spider-Man. So when I get to talk to more so like Marvel cosplayers that focus on, especially the things that I love, I feel like a kid again inside, man. You know, and it's like,
I did too when I wear suits, because I'm strictly like a Marvel fan. I actually have never done a DC cosplay.
I know.
I don't have any. I keep getting asked, hey, are you going to make a DC cosplay? I'm like, well, I don't really.
It's not up there for you. Yeah.
Because I know the characters for Marvel are so amazing. I just love all the characters that they created.
Right.
And for DC, like if I had to do a DC character, it probably would have been either Doomsday or
Doomsday,
or Darkseid. Darkseid or Doomsday probably would have been more me. Stuff that I would have done.
Yeah. 100%.
But
100%.
Just the Marvel characters in general is just,
they just stand out to you. Yeah.
Stand out. Just more
sometimes you got to go with what connects with you as well, because that's what cosplay is all about. It's about having the fun, having the connection, and it is. I mean, whether people say it is or it isn't, but it is bringing that kid out of you. You know what I mean? Because it all started. It had at some point when you were at least younger. I don't know if everybody wants to say a kid. There's some people out there that I've talked to that didn't even really get into cosplay or get into some of this pop culture stuff, if you will, till later in life. So not everybody a kid, but for the ones that are, like, a lot of it is also bringing out that kid in you. It's satisfying that youngin' in you that saw these things and always wanted to become it or be around it, you know? And
oh God, yeah. I always wanted to be these big, larger than life villains or superheroes that I saw growing up in Marvel. I'm like, and now being able to do that, I'm like bringing these big characters that you don't see at cons, and giving it a chance to show the glory of the big boys.
Yeah, exactly. Before you made the decision to go with like this iteration of Rhino, which did you base this iteration off of, and did you rummage through any other ideas or versions before you ended up landing on this one?
I did actually. I looked at the old '60s versions of Spider-Man's Rhino, and then it was like a one-piece suit, similar to like what the Sabretooth would have been.
Sabretooth.
But I've seen some Rhino cosplays out there that have done that version already. So I always tend to do something that's not done, more different than what others have seen. So I came across the PS5 Spider-Man video game.
Right.
And then that Rhino came out, I'm like, ooh, he's mecha. I love mecha, you know?
Yes.
So, and a kind of mecha build. And I'm like, I think I can get that style to work in a cosplay. I just don't know how I would go about doing it yet. So, you know, so we had to blow it up on the wall in a big projector, drawing it out and like putting my body inside to see how it would work. And looking at like, okay, definitely I can't get it through the head if we wanted to have that hunchback look. Like, you know, with a head here and a bad body up here. Right. So yeah, that's kind of how it looked because the process was of making it, but the suit itself, it had to go like with that because it was the mecha version of Rhino. And then there was also that, I think it was Amazing 2 Spider-Man at the end credit where they had,
with what's his name, Paul.
It was
Giamatti, I think, was the actor, right? Yeah.
And he was just the robot of Rhino, right? So it was cool, but it's not Rhino. To me, it wasn't Rhino.
It wasn't like the real. It was just like the guy. I don't want to say. Yeah. I mean, it kind of was. I was going to say it's just a guy in a suit, but I mean, it kind of was. It was just like him, normal person in a giant
robot suit.
Yeah, it wasn't like Rhino.
I guess you could say. So this particular one, it's a little bit of both. It still looks like a giant mecha, but it's actually human. So. Yeah, it's just a big giant version of Rhino. So this is definitely the version that kind of blended both together. I'm like, this is the one.
It looks amazing, dude. I mean, kudos to you. It looks amazing, man. It's the cosplays that you rock, man. The cosplays that you build, the craftsmanship, whether it be from you solely or to those that help, you know, lend a hand, it have its uniqueness to it that only a handful can say that they adapt into their cosplay adventures, man. How did you start, you know, cosplay as a whole, and did it always begin with bringing these types of characters in these type of ways, like these bigger builds, these intricate builds to life? Was it always this? Like, where did your love for cosplay in this type of way begin?
Actually, it started with Halloween for me. I was always been a huge Halloween fan, and actually I started out with doing a lot of gore and horror kind of costumes, right? So I used to do.
I love horror though. I'm a huge horror fan.
I was always a huge horror fan, right? I started doing Michael Myers first as my first costume, right?
Huge Michael Myers fan, dude.
But this goes back like into the early '90s or so, and I used to do a lot of haunted house builds. Oh, so nice. I used to design haunted houses.
Oh, that's cool.
And then also building characters for those haunted houses too. So that's kind of how it started for costuming. You know, Halloween was basically like my Christmas. It was my favorite time of year. Anytime I got to dress up and be somebody else, that was just, you know, my love. So when it came to like cosplaying, I think I really introduced to cosplaying until like maybe 2015 or 16. I had done a Hulk suit, and it was all latex rubber. It was a smaller version. It was not like my giant Hulk suit that I have now. But I wore it to the first con that I ever attended. It was Silicon in San Jose. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, let's go over here. Why don't you bring that Hulk suit that you have?" And like, okay, so that's the first time I put the Hulk suit on and actually wore it outside of Halloween. You know, I never wore anything else. At that point, I was like, I didn't ever went to any cons or anything. So then I went and I see all the other people dressed up as like Captain America or Wonder Woman. And some people ran up to me and was like, "Hey, there's a Hulk. Bring him over here. Okay, we can take pictures with you with all these other Marvel characters." And I thought that was great, you know? And so the Hulk got a huge, because I was the only Hulk there. Nobody was dressing up as Hulk. So cosplaying, that actually kind of started for me right there. So then I would wear Hulk to other conventions and it got the same reaction. Everybody loved seeing the characters. And then I figured, okay, if I wore something else, what kind of character, what would I be? So for me to go with bigger, it was more of a comfort kind of thing, right? So I couldn't wear a Spider-Man spandex suit. You know, I'm a big old hefty Polynesian dude, right? So there's no way I'm going to be wearing spandex and showing every role that I got. So I'm like, nah, can't do that. So I'm like, oh, what if I went bigger? So a friend of mine, his name is Walter Welsh.
I thought you were going to say Walter
amazing.
White. I thought you were going to say from Breaking Bad. Too, I was like, oh, this guy knows Heisenberg.
I love Heisenberg.
Right?
Best show ever, though, by the way.
It really is. Best TV series ever.
It
really.
is the best series. I cannot 100%. I would binge watch that every day.
Yes.
If I could.
Dude, I've probably watched it like 7 times, the whole series over and over, dude.
And I never got tired of it. You know?
Same, dude. It's amazing.
And then when Better Call Saul,
Oh my God, yeah. I liked Better Call Saul too, dude. I know there's a lot of people that have mixed feelings about it. I loved Better Call Saul, the way that it brought everything full circle, man.
Together,
loved it.
Right?
Yes. Underrated. People need to give it a chance.
Totally.
If they have
they do.
Sorry
That's
about that.
how I want the X-Men brought, like that. Bring it back. Bring it together.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Just have a Breaking Bad side convo over here.
Yes, please. I'll be Walter White. I'll shave my head for that if I have to.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude.
So a friend of mine, Walter White.
I know, right? Now it's stuck in my head.
Walter Welsh. He was he's an amazing artist. He was actually on the show Face Off, and he was a contestant.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah,
man. He came in second on that show.
Nice, congratulations.
So he was in the finals. Yeah, great artist. Yeah. So at the time, he was doing Thanos. He was building a Thanos suit.
Yeah,
and he's kind of oversized. He's kind of big. So him and I got together and like, let's build that Thanos armor, Thanos suit. Yeah. So I went with the Thanos armor as opposed to just the body part, and then just put. He made me some latex arms to see how it would go.
Yeah.
So it looked perfect. It was comfortable. It wasn't form fitting. I'm wearing a Spider-Man bodysuit, little spandex on me.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to walk around it. So it's not like the 7-foot Thanos. It's just me, 6-foot regular size Thanos. But the comfort level was great for me because it was loose fitting. I could move around in it. And so that's kind of how the size of the suits kind of started. Mm-hmm. It went from comfort and being able to move around and not feeling so constricted in the books. Like I said, I'll never wear a bodysuit like that, but underneath I would wear it.
But, exactly.
Which I do wear. I do wear like the tight constricted suits just to hide the skin underneath some of the armor suits.
Right.
But that's kind of how it started as far as big builds go. It was just more of a comfort thing.
And then it just evolved into what it is today.
And then just evolved.
Knocking them out, dude. Just knocking them out left and right.
Like, what big guy can I get? Juggernaut was the first. He was comfortable.
Yep.
Let's go bigger. You go bigger.
Sick, dude. It's sick. And that brings me to a perfect transition, man. Is I know you put a lot of your cosplays on Instagram that you're working on. That you kind of showcase, things that you're working on over time. And I want to know, like, what can we expect from you in the future? I'm assuming obviously more Marvel projects. You kind of touched on it a little bit, and this is my question was if you were ever going to do any DC ones, and you kind of touched on that, and you mentioned if you ever were, it'd probably be like a Doomsday or a Dark Side. I was also going to say a Solomon Grundy or a Swamp Thing or maybe an Atrocitus or not. It doesn't seem too far out of your wheelhouse as well, but you mentioned that you're not really too focused on DC, or maybe it's something outside of the realm of superheroes in general that you may do one day. What's the future of cosplay look like for you right now?
I always will stay with bigger is better for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm always going to stay big. The next big one that I have planned out is a Transformer.
Nice.
And it is a combiner.
Nice.
So I'll say it. It's going to be Devastator.
There we go, dude. Yeah.
So it's going to have the nice lime green with the purple. So it's going to be the old school version, but with a more modern look to it.
Nice. So, definitely. With your little bit of your twist on there.
A little twist on it. Yeah. It's going to be that nice big version of it. Yeah.
Nice. Definitely.
At least attempt to try to do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. What about that Sinister you got behind you?
Yeah. Sinister's, he's almost done. I just have to redo the cape. Like I did the cape out of fabric. Mixed with some foam in it, and it looks great, but it became a lot heavier. So now I just have to redo the cape and everything, but he's pretty much done. Sister guy, right?
That looks sick, dude. It's coming together, man. It's coming together, dude. What else?
I have this guy too. The next big boy I have is
dude.
This.
Oh my goodness. Sick, dude. So sick.
Let me plug him in real quick so you can better grasp his head. So, yeah, this one was helped made by a good friend of mine too. His name is Zachary Whitesell. All right, here comes Dormammu.
Dude, so cool, man. Wow.
So Dormammu is here. This is probably the closest thing to Rhino's size, actually.
That's what I was going to ask. My next question for that one was going to be about how big is that going to end up being?
Yeah,
That's
he's pretty huge. He's going to be really big. I was gonna show him off at WonderCon, but
nice.
Won't be able to go this year, unfortunately.
I was going to say because I'm going this year, and I was going to ask if you were gonna be there this year.
Yeah, I think I saw you there last year. Last year, or the year before, right?
Yeah, I was there doing videography. Yeah, I'm going this year for a couple different things as well. That sucks. You're not going to be there this year?
No, not this year. I know I wanted to go, but I was gonna bring Dormammu and Kiryu Mecha Godzilla with me.
Oh, dude, so sick.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I haven't seen a Godzilla at a con in a long time, dude. I'm sure they're out there, but I just haven't seen one.
Yeah, you don't see too many Kiryu's Mecha Godzillas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't think I've actually ever seen one, really.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, no. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it. Just, you just don't see it.
Yeah, sick, man. Sick, dude. Well,
Next
man,
time.
this has been an amazing time, dude, talking with you, man. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time about a lot of your cosplays. There's so many more things that I would have loved to detail about, but we only have so much time. And then I also want to leave, I'm sure everybody that's tuning in probably already follows you and knows a lot about your stuff. But if they haven't, I want to give them something to go to your Instagram and look at stuff that we didn't talk about and be wowed for that first time in case, like I am when I see them, in case they haven't, dude. But your Transformers, your Juggernaut, your Hulk, your Thanos, and everything in between, the things that we didn't get to touch on. I wanted to talk about your Juggernaut too, but I was like, I gotta make room for other questions. And I was like, what do I focus on? I was like, I know I gotta talk about Rhino because that thing's insane. So I was like, man, I don't know. So I did what I could, man. I did what I could, but
Rhino's good though. Rhino doesn't get too much love, so I'm glad you talked about Rhino.
It doesn't. It should, man. That thing is amazing, dude. What would you say, real quick before we do get out of here? What would you say out of your cosplays? What do you think does get the most attention and the most love, whether it be on Instagram or in person at conventions? What do you think gets the most attention?
Oh, God, it's hard to say, but I guess I would have to say Juggernaut.
Juggernaut? That's what I was going to say probably too. I feel like your Juggernaut probably gets a lot.
He's like the most seen of all my cosplays because I would wear him to not just cons, but also to the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Right. So I'm actually going to be wearing him at the next championship fight with Lorenzo Hunt, the Juggernaut champion.
Nice,
so I'll be walking down the ring with him. Yeah,
that's cool.
So he's just the most character that has been seen out of all my cosplay because I think I wear him a little bit more and showcase him more because he's probably like a lot easier to wear.
Yeah.
I mean, not easy, but he's
right,
pretty nimble to walk around in, and he's been seen all over the world basically. I mean, he brought me to Saudi Arabia, so
dude, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
It would be Juggernaut.
That's cool. Definitely, man. Well, like I said, dude, it's been awesome having you, man. And, I welcome you back in the future. We'll talk about more stuff. Let some time go by. Let some new cosplays happen. And maybe we'll come back and talk about some more stuff that you've got going on, dude. And would love to get some video of you. I do videography as well. Would love to get some video of you sometime when we're at the same convention. What's your convention lineup looking like this year? Where do you plan on going this year?
So I will be at Comic-Con Revolution in, I think it's May. I might be going to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not too sure, but I will be going to G-Fest or Godzilla Con in Chicago.
Nice, dude.
So I got asked a lot if I could go there, so I'm going to bring Mecha Godzilla over there.
Hell yeah, dude. That's cool.
So, give him a little love.
Yeah, but definitely.
Yeah, as far as big cons go, it's that, and then the one in Minnesota, the Uncanny Experience.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know about that one.
Oh, that is definitely a con that you should check out if you're an X-Men fan like me. Man.
Yeah, the minute I heard Uncanny, I knew right away.
the Uncanny Experience is an amazing con. It's an immersive con, so it's nothing but X-Men related stuff.
Oh, dude.
And you're inside the Minneapolis Club, which is almost an exact copy of Xavier's mansion.
Oh, dude, what? How have I never heard of this?
Yeah, check them out at theuncannyexperience.com.
I'm going
to be a guest cosplayer over there. I'll be bringing my Sabretooth and probably one other surprise character for them.
Oh, nice.
And so when you go to the con, you're going to be like immersed in the X-Men world. You're going to be playing little bits of games and trivia with the characters, like looking for the Shi'ar crystal and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, that sounds like a good time, dude.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You got the voices of Rogue, the creators, Larry Houston, and the Walds. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds like a good time. Yeah, I'll have to check them out, dude. Well, we are going to get ready to get out of here, man. Before we do, I want to give you the floor to say whatever it is that you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, just whatever's on your mind. Last few seconds here. The floor is yours, man.
Well, I just want to say thank you to all the people that follow me, and I appreciate all the support. And, I do it for you guys. Make sure that you guys can see all these big characters that get no love. But yeah, thank you. Love the big boys,
Definitely, man. Definitely, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not, please go follow Hummin H2, HUMMIN_H2 on Instagram. Hummin, this has been an amazing time. Like I keep saying, man, I welcome you back. To everybody that's tuning in right now, thank you for watching, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, for doing all of those beautiful things that you do over on youtube.com/Side Project Podcast. When you go down, you hit that big red subscribe button. And when you do, you go, and you get 100 sexy project points. And by the way, on YouTube, thank you guys so much for all of the love for my Witcher short film. I cannot thank you guys enough. I don't know if I have that big of a Witcher following, but I'm a Witcher fan. Shout out to Paper Moon Cosplay. I always loved her Witcher, and the moment I saw it, I knew I wanted to do something short film-wise, and it is definitely short. It's a short film, but thank you guys so much for all the love over there on YouTube for the Witcher short film, Ciri, A Witcher Tale. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it right now, and let me know what you think. Thank you for listening and watching on Spotify as well, because videos are available on Spotify. When you follow and you rate and you do all the things you do on Spotify, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at IGHatesChazzy. That is my personal. And if you're looking for the podcast, everything else you need to find me on is on the screen as well, by the way, or in the descriptions. You can click it in the descriptions. You can't click it on the screen, but you can click it in the descriptions. And if you're looking for the podcast as a whole, you can find it at Side Project Podcast on Instagram. And remember, that's podcast. Remember, that's Project with a K. For me, for Hummin, we are out of here.